Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy. Tonight on the Highly Strange Days podcast, we will be exploring the eerie world of haunted homes and possessions. Can a home truly possess a person? And can a person in turn possess a home? Join us as we take a closer look at the infamous Chris Watts home and its rumored haunting. During our live tonight, we will delve into the chilling details surrounding Chris Watts's actions, including his claims of being possessed during his crimes. We will also analyze the 911 call made regarding the Miller dad, the father of the family who purchased the Watts house. As we covered on our channel in the spring, the Miller dad was arrested on a domestic and a child abuse in that very house. The child abuse charge was later dropped. Before we proceed, I must also issue a trigger warning on the content we're about to discuss tonight. Some of it may be unsettling to some listeners. We will be talking about and looking at demon possessions during tonight's live. So I just want to put that out there. If this isn't the live for you, you can come back another time. We'll be here on Sunday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So, without further ado, let us embark on this mysterious journey in tonight's episode of the Highly Strange Days podcast on the Parawomen Radio Network. While we wait for everyone to roll in, I'm going to roll some credits. Special shout out to my dragonflies. I want to welcome all the new dragonflies we had fly in this week. I think there was like 12 of y'all. Some of you were gifted, some of you decided to come on board. Regardless, we want to welcome you. So, welcome to all the new dragonflies. I love you. Guys, welcome to Parawomen Radio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Carefully strumming this old guitar again, words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I would steal them and fly away with you for a while. Here in the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day.
here in the essence of gratitude, I've got a Parawomen radio episode, and it's the highly strange days. And on top of everything else, Shannon, I don't know if you're listening to me, but you do have your camera on. I want to tell you that before I bring you up. Not sure if you wanted to shut that off, but Shannon, I have it. Fleckenstein, right, is here with me.
You got it this time. Good job.
Woohoo! I feel like a little kid that I got it right finally.
A little star for you right in the middle of your forehead.
Boop. I'm going to take it. I love the stickers. Speaking of stickers, I put up a poll on my community tab over on YouTube. We're very close to having our first stickers ready to go. We've got some fun. I always hold that up in case I'm alone and I need to check my levels, and then I forget it's there. But we've got the stickers almost ready to go. Next week for sure. By Sunday, I will have the stickers up and ready. Yay!
Yay!
Yay. So be sure to vote, you guys. We've got a lot of people in chat. I see Heavenly, and I see Chris C, and I see Jeff, and I see Giselle Hunter, and Miranda, and Joyce, and there's a lot of people in here tonight. If I missed anyone, the chat was moving kind of fast. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Are you ready to talk about haunted houses and possessions, Shannon?
I am. I love haunted houses.
Yeah, I
Don't
do
necessarily
too.
love possessions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of talking about the possessions either, but okay, so this is from first let's start the algorithm dance party that I like to do. I'll forget to do it if I don't do it in the beginning. Just start warming up your fingers and dancing them up to the hearts and thumbs up buttons. You guys, it helps us dance out into the algorithm. Party out there, meet some interesting people and bring them back to the party. Today, we're talking to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hi, guys. And hi to the replay crew. You know I love you. And so just keep hitting the thumbs up and hearts button. It just is a free way to help my channel out, and it's really, really appreciated. And if you like my content, be sure to subscribe. And I have something new happening over on Facebook. Facebook popped up that I can have memberships over there. So I've made the executive decision that I am going to the Amy F. Williamson, it is Amy F. Williamson. That's like my page. That is like my page, but also the Parawomen Radio page. But I've always kept it as my name on the page. I'm just going to make it the Parawomen Radio page because there's like 6,000 of you over there, and trying to herd 6,000 people over to another page after I had already herded you over to one page. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. And now that I can do memberships over on the Facebook page, that's what we're going to do. So
Yay!
Yay. So welcome to everybody. Be sure to subscribe. We will have, I don't know, I haven't made the decision whether it should be the Dragonflies over on Facebook. Oh, that's another choice for another day. But that is what's happening. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. We're going to get right into it. So the guy this is the Watts house, and Shanann Watts and Chris Watts built the Watts house, and it's in Colorado. It's in Fredericksburg, Colorado. And I'm telling you this because I'm assuming that you don't know the Watts case like I know the Watts case, right?
I do not.
Okay.
The first I read about it was a few weeks ago when we had that other guest on that was giving us the
Oh.
information about the psychic when we had the psychic on.
Mhm, 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 mhm. Yes. So the house was built by Chris and Shanann Watts, and it was built. I should have pulled up dates, but I didn't pull up dates for the house. But it was built by them, and I think they lived in it about like 3 or 4 years before he met this other woman, and he decided that he would just take his whole family out for the mistress. This is the narrative that has been spun. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if the mistress helped or not, but that's another topic for another day. The house was built. Shanann loved the house, but this was her second house she actually built in her short lifetime of, I think she was unalived when she was 34 or 36, somewhere in that age range. But this was her second mansion that she built. But she really loved this house, the Colorado house. And it's rumored that she was unalived in the master suite. And it's said that he tried to unalive the girls in their own beds, but they woke back up, and then he did it at the oil field. So people, it's always been questioned, is it haunted? Is it not haunted? I always was like, no, it's not haunted. I mean, it's not haunted. People were going by doing spirit board stuff and, readings and the that white, I forget the name of it. What is it? The white noise thing that people use? Spirit boxes.
Spirit box, yeah.
Yes. And so people were doing that. And I was like, no, no, no. And then it was in legal limbo for a long time. And then finally, this family called the Miller family bought the house. And everyone was like, oh, yay, and people were like, oh, I don't know if I would do that. And just a lot of stuff. But mostly people were happy for the Miller family. They were like, congratulations to the Miller family. So not even a year later, the Miller dad is arrested for harming his family. And
What?
so, yes. And the weird thing is that it's a family of two little girls and a little boy, and that's what that family, the Watts family, would have been if she had given birth to the little boy that she was pregnant with.
Oh.
And yeah. And so we did read the report in another live, but now we have the 911 call that we're going to go over. But first, before we do that, I want to go back. I like to go back and I want to go over some of the things that people said about Chris Watts and his possession and what he said he was possessed with. And then we're going to look at possessions. And then we're going to go into the 911 call, which Plunder had on her page. She's the one that got the arrest affidavit and all of that. And she was the one that got the court. I don't know. Well, she's a very large channel and she's been covering this case for a really long time. And a lot of time, larger channels, they have more money to buy those type of things from the courthouse. And also they have more of a subscriber base, so they're more likely to get the tips that it's happening. So that is how she does it, but she's a master at it. She's very good at it. And but first we're going to go into what they said haunts. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to remove you. What haunts the house, but let me share my screen. Okay. All right, you can see it.
Demon or evil spirit that Chris claims was inside of him from the time he met Nicole Kessinger to sometime in October when he was forgiven by the Lord. And I'm going to read it from different parts of this book that he co-wrote with Sherilyn Cadle. Again, he does not profit from this. He legally can't. He also has no more contact with the author of this book. So she does not give him money. They have no relationship.
I also want to point out that this book, this author was also, her first book that she did on this subject was taken down for plagiarism. And so I always want to point out that you must take this with a grain of salt because of that, in my opinion.
Because he does not like the way the book turned out. So just wanted to clear that up. I had been thinking about killing my family. I didn't want to, but I knew I was going to do it. I just knew there was something in me that felt like it was controlling me. There was a feeling of something dark around me. It seemed like that for a couple of weeks. I'm not blaming Nikki. She is a victim also. However, I started feeling that way around the time I was seeing her. I call it a demon. I don't mean that in a religious sense. A demon is the only thing I know how to call it. My conscious mind could see what it was going to make me do before I did it. The evil force that he thinks was pursuing him was also living in his home. Christopher feels this was a force that kept causing him to have a recurring dream. In the weeks leading up to the murders, this disturbing dream made him realize that there was something coming after him. He realized it had been chasing him. He would dream that he was lying on their bed asleep, and he would wake up in his dream and all of the lights in the house were on. Then, in his dream, he would realize that he was all alone, that his family was gone, and it was just him. The dream gave him an awful feeling. Somehow he knew the dream was going to come true. Was this his mind preparing him, or was it God's warning? Sure enough, the night of August 13th, after he had just killed his family that morning, he turned off all the lights and went to bed. I don't know what this means, but he woke with a start and realized all of the lights in the house were on. He knew he had turned them off before lying down. The first thing that came to his mind was he was all alone and his family was gone. Wow, what a reality check. This was his dream exactly. He could feel the spirit in his home. Who turned on all the lights? He said he did not, and he was convinced that for sure there were evil spirits in there. It's said that sometimes a dark spirit will follow a person for a while. On the morning of August 14th, Christopher woke up very early to find himself laying on his bed, feeling totally alone. He was not feeling sad or remorseful. He just wanted to get on with his life. As he looked around his house, he was wondering how it was that he didn't miss them or wish they were back. He looked at the pictures on the walls, but it still didn't register. It did not bring back any memories. Okay, so this is when Chris talks about his first night in jail. This is right after he's arrested, after the whole day of the polygraph and all of that. I arrive at the Weld County Jail the night of August 15th. I get booked, fingerprinted, and my picture taken. One of the officers, as he's slamming my door shut, says, "Good luck." I'm standing in there alone in the darkness. The only light that was on was a dim nightlight used for guards to check on you. I lay down in the bunk in my turtle suit as I'm in their suicide watch pod and stare off into the darkness. Nothing is adding up, and I feel like none of this can be real. To my astonishment, I look in the front corner of my cell and see two dark figures standing there. I thought, okay, this is my eyes playing tricks on me. So I close them and open my eyes again, and yet they are still there. As I focus more intently, I can see one is a male and one is a female. The male is in a black suit and the female is in a black dress with a Victorian-style hat. Both of their wardrobes are vintage. Their faces were ash-colored and almost familiar, until the familiar feeling turned into a sure thing. This was my grandfather and grandmother on my mom's side, their faces being unmistakable now. I almost wanted to move closer to them when their eyes opened in unison. They motioned me towards them, but I was frozen and I didn't want to go towards them. Their eyes were coming out as red blood, crimson. This eerie feeling came over me as I had four eyes staring back at me, as if piercing my soul in a bad way. The only problem was I felt like I was in a trance and had to keep eye contact. Somehow they would not let their eyes off of me, and I could not move my eyes off of them. I felt like I needed to go over to them, as the one motioned his hand for me to come near, but all of a sudden something broke the trance. I looked away and looked back. At the corner of my cell was empty. The pair was gone. I obviously couldn't sleep much after this event, thinking this type of visit would only get worse if I left my guard down. I knew without any doubt this was part of what was inside of me. It completely freaked me out. I realized I did have a demon inside of me. Now what was I going to do? All right, so now let's talk about when the demon...
Okay, so he thinks there's a demon inside of him that is coming out and talking to him in the cell, and it's his grandmother and grandfather. First, I'd like to say, like, I feel like demons they often come to you as children or older people or people you know. So that could be his, it could be a demon in the south with him.
Maybe, or maybe they were trying to stop him.
Well, he had already done it.
Oh.
But maybe they were crying blood because they were devastated that he did it.
Maybe.
Let's see what he says about how the demon comes out of him.
And leaves Chris's body. So he says, let's get to forgiveness night, October 1st, 2018. I know this was the night because the Kansas City Chiefs were playing Sunday Night Football that night. I remember watching that game that night. He says he was in a new pod and he had never seen a picture of the girls in Shanann until this day they popped up on the TV screen. And he says, lockdown was at 10 p.m. and I went to my cell and laid on my bunk in the dark with a picture of my family frozen in my head. I see Bella, I see Celeste, I see Shanann. I see their bright shining faces, their radiant cheeks, their beautiful smiles. Now more memories flood to my brain. Memories of the pool when both girls would jump into my arms and I would fly them around. Memories of snowstorms when I'd pull the girls around in a sled. Memories of the wedding when I see Shanann walking down the aisle, seeing her standing right in front of me looking absolutely stunning. Memories of Celeste tackling me every time I picked her up from school. Memories
I hope
of Bella-
these memories flood him every single day, at every single moment, and make him feel like he's the asshole that he is.
Agreed.
His first time seeing fireworks, memories of being a family. These images came at me like tidal waves, flooding my mind with love I once had and piercing my soul in a way knowing they were gone. And I'm the one that took them away. I longed to hold on to my family in my arms again, to read them one more bedtime story, to give another goodnight kiss, to hold my son for the first time, to sing one more song in the car, to be a dad, to be a husband, one more time. I rolled over onto my bunk, onto my knees and cried out to the Lord, please take this pain away, take the guilt. How did I let this happen? How did I let it get this far? I cried, this pain is too great for me to bear. I can't handle it. I can't bear it alone. I'm sorry for the pain I've caused. Please take this guilt, this shame that I feel, and help me follow you. Heal my heart, cleanse my soul, and help me follow you. Please forgive me. You're my Lord and my Savior, and I want to do your will. At that moment, I felt a hand touch the top of my head. It didn't startle me. It didn't scare me. What it did was overwhelm me with so much emotion I had never, ever felt before. I couldn't stop crying.
So you kind of guessed it. He has now, or if you haven't guessed it, he has now leached onto Christianity, and that is how he expelled the demon that was his grandfather and grandmother with the red bleeding eyes out of his cell, I guess.
The Catholic Church should hire him.
Right? He's good.
Wow.
He's good. Mm-hmm. So I thought we would look at how does someone become possessed? Because when I was doing this, I was like, well, how does anyone become possessed in the first place? And I found this.
Thanks for the question, Leslie. This is actually a question I get a lot, especially from young people. Today, many people, including many Catholics, unfortunately dismiss the idea of demonic possession, mainly because they reject the idea of the devil and of hell. But Scripture, the teachings of the Church, and the testimony of the saints, not to mention the very words of Jesus Christ, are unequivocal. There are demonic forces that are at work in the world. Demonic possessions do occur, and hell is a reality. So back to the question, how does someone become possessed? In his spiritual exercises, St. Ignatius of Loyola describes the soul of a human person analogously as a kingdom surrounded by a protective wall. He says that the evil spirit or the demons move around the exterior wall like an attacking army, looking for a weak spot, place of attack. And I think this is a helpful image for describing how a person might become possessed. The ordinary assault of the demons against the protective wall of the human person is temptation. And every person alive experiences temptation, the corrupted desire to choose what we know is wrong or to choose what we know is right by the wrong means. This fallen desire, this downwards pull we call concupiscence. And every person alive, every saint that's ever lived has experienced temptation to one degree or another. Sometimes, however, the assault of the enemy is intensified. And this can happen for one of two reasons. Either through our own sinful choices, we've opened ourselves to the assault of the enemy. We've made ourselves more vulnerable to his attack. Or sometimes
This is interesting too, because his girlfriend, his mistress, that people often refer to as NK because her name is Nicole Kessinger. There's like 2 or 3 Nicoles in this, and so she's known as NK, and it has been reported that she did magic of some sort, that she put a crystal of some sort and a book underneath one of his daughter's beds. There has been some things that I haven't gone over or gone through, so I can't say if it's true or not, but it's been rumored, and this is all my opinion. This is all our opinion, for educational and entertainment purposes only. We speed up, we stop things, we speak over everything that we watch, or we do all of this, and we do all of this for fair play use, and we must do it. Everything that we view, I will put down in the description, and you can go and view it in its entirety on your own. And so anyway, NK was reportedly feeding him some kind of drink. I don't know. I'm just like now going down the road of psychedelics and all of that. I don't know if that's what she was giving him. She was supposedly giving him some drink, and they were drinking it a lot, and like, these are all the whispered rumors that there was a lot of sex magic going on. So I haven't fully delved into it, but I know that it's being discussed. So there's that he was doing prior to the unalivings. That, I mean, was this lowering his, what this person was, what this is it Capuchin is saying, this Franciscan? What do you think?
It's possible. It's very possible. I've always understood that possessions can happen when you're battered, like your soul is battered, or by illness, but I guess if he was being come at magically somehow, and that the hallucinogenics may have put a chink in his soul, in the wall around his soul. That does make sense.
I think there was just a lot of it. There was a perfect storm. He was also doing those patches. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why he did it, right? I mean, I think that's the age-old question. Why? Why did he do it instead of just getting a divorce? And so I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to figure it out.
Was she
God may permit something.
Oh, go ahead.
Shanann, was she a stay-at-home mom, or did she have a career?
She was an MLM salesperson. She sold the patches that he wore on him. I guess it was like I don't even know, like, it's called Thrive. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Oh, right. Okay, so one of those. Okay.
Yeah, one of those.
So maybe, I mean, I don't know what the court system is like in Colorado, but maybe he was trying to also get out of alimony and child support.
Oh, well, for sure. Yeah. 3 kids. I don't think he thought he would ever have money again, because 3 kids. And then Nikki was talking about she wanted to be the person that gave him his first son, and yeah.
Oh, that's yucky. Oh,
it's really yucky, and it's really yucky because she insists that she didn't know Shanann was pregnant until she found out that she was missing, And I mean, Shanann was an MLM person. She was all over that Facebook. So you know that if you are dating this guy who says that he's in a separation with his wife, you would be all over that woman's Facebook watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure would.
Sure would.
Something in our life for our own sanctification and salvation. We see this in the life of the saints. So when the demonic of the attack of the enemy goes further, it can result in demonic oppression or demonic obsessions. And these are experienced as strong negative thoughts we can't seem to shake. Sometimes voices we might hear in our minds, or a heavy darkness that seems to weigh on us and we can't get out of it. Obsessive or unwanted images that return again and again to our minds. Demonic obsession and oppression, these can usually be dealt with through the sacraments and, if necessary, the aid of deliverance. The most striking and serious extraordinary attack of the demons against the human person is demonic possession. And this occurs when the demon literally takes possession of the body of a human person. It's important to distinguish this point, though. The demons may take possession of the body, but they can't touch the soul, like the will of the human person, but only the body and the powers of the body. So how does this happen? Well, according to exorcists, it usually happens through some sort of serious cooperation with evil, particularly the occult. And by the occult, I mean the use of Ouija boards, tarot cards, visiting psychics, etc. These are extremely dangerous practices which create a wide opening for the entrance of demonic forces in our life.
And this is satanic panic from Christianity. I don't believe that these things cause all of that. I wouldn't personally use a Ouija board myself. You have to be smart about things, about what you do and you don't use. But I love when I used to go out and help people that had hauntings in their homes. I would always find out what their personal belief in what their higher power, do you believe that it's Jesus? Do you believe that it's God? Do you believe that, it's the goddess? Do you believe in, paganism? What is it that you believe in? Are you Native American? Are you just spiritualist? I mean, you have to find something that you believe in to get rid of these things. So I don't believe that it has to be through only the Catholic Church. Do you?
No, I believe that anyone with a strong enough foundation and know-how can do it.
Yes. I don't do it anymore because I truly believe it made me sick. So I don't recommend doing it unless you are truly strong and able-bodied, because it takes a toll on you.
Yes.
I want to move on, and we're just going to look at some possessions. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but let's look at what it looks like when a person is actually possessed, or in this video, they think that they're really possessed by a demon. This is the trigger warning that I want to give everyone. Again, this could be disturbing to some.
Demonic possessions caught on camera. All the footage is said to be real, even some coming from famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren themselves. Viewer discretion is advised, as some of the possessions are quite gruesome and terrifying. You have been warned. Starting off this...
Were you with us the night that we interviewed Lorraine Warren?
I sure was.
That was a good interview.
That was. I loved that.
Countdown, we have Maurice. Now, if you have seen the movie Nun, then this is the real-life case that movie was based off of. Maurice, or Frenchie Thoreau, was a hardworking farmer that ended up getting diabolically possessed. This occurred in 1985. It started with blood randomly pouring from his nose, or his eyes and his mouth. And he didn't know what was causing it. He also developed super strength and could randomly understand and speak Latin. At first, he went to a police officer for help, and then a priest, And then finally, he went to Ed and Lorraine Warren. Now, apparently, he went through a number of exorcisms. According to the Warrens, during the exorcisms, Frenchie's head would split open, boils would appear on his skin, and crosses would randomly appear all over his body. In fact, this was all caught on film. Take a look.
Well, are these the boils that they're talking about? Because, wow. Or am I seeing? Do you see what the boils right here?
They don't look like any boil I've gotten. I get boils from time to time, and
okay.
They don't.
I've never gotten
I could be wrong.
Maybe they're skin tags.
Like the Warren said, he would often get random cuts on his forehead and scalp that would split open and bleed during the exorcisms. The demon that was inside of Frenchie put a huge fight up against the Warrens. That footage is just absolutely traumatizing. In our 9th spot today, we have the exorcism of Gina. In 1990, a teenager from Florida by the name of Gina underwent an exorcism. In fact, her exorcism was broadcast on ABC Network for millions of people to watch. In the end, 29 million people turned into this exorcism. During the exorcism, Gina was strapped to a chair and tried to fight back a number of times.
God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit.
She would bark at the priest and yell out when the priest put the cross on her forehead.
I send your Holy Spirit into our hearts and our lives, Lord. Send your Holy Spirit into our lives, Lord. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of the living God.
In the end, it was found that she was being possessed by a number of demonic spirits, including one named Zion and another one named Minga.
God have pity on us and bless us. May he let his face shine upon us. And may your way be known, or you experience the fire of hell. Zion, leave now. In the name of Jesus Christ, I command any of the spirits that are present in Gina to speak out now and reveal themselves. The cross compels you.
Moving on at number 8, we have the
I
exorcism.
don't know. To me, that just seems like a girl that is like really liking the attention.
And in one part, she looked at the camera like, "Are you getting this?" kind of thing.
Yeah. Looking down the camera is never a good thing.
Right.
In our 7th spot today, we have the lost tapes.
This
Now,
will be
I
the
covered
last
this in
one.
my other video. If you haven't seen it already, you can watch it here. But here's just a little refresher. So in 1973, this footage was supposedly found in the attic of a newly purchased home in Iowa. The footage is very disturbing and it depicts a real possession of an unknown male. It's scary because paranormal things start happening as the person is near this possessed person. Like the door opens by itself and the man is clearly in pain. It's very gruesome to watch because he starts bleeding, wounds start opening up on his stomach, and it's very, very dark.
Okay, so that is a little bit of what some of the possessions is. I'm not going to go anymore because it gets really gross. Possessions look like. The last one, I think maybe yes. But we don't know who it was. It was just a tape that was found. That's
found footage.
Yes.
And that was before the found footage era of
found footage, yeah.
Movie entertainment happened. So
yeah. And also, have you ever heard of I don't know if it's video or just audio. I think I've only heard it of the real exorcism. It wasn't a girl, but it was really a boy that it happened to, and you can hear that exorcism, that's a hard one to listen to because you can like hear they do go into Latin and the different voices, and yeah.
I have not heard that.
Yeah, I can't. It's disturbing to me. Demon stuff is very disturbing to me. It's one of the things that scares me the most.
Yes, and I was raised in the church, and there's thought that indulging in this kind of thing can lead to inviting that into your life.
Yeah. That's why I don't talk about it too much. I mean, and if I do, this is the first that I've really even talked about the D's on here. So I hope nothing happens.
Love and light to you, babe.
Yeah, you too. Okay, so and here are some signs that someone may be possessed.
Hey, Chris here from the Thankx Show, where we talk about how to live out God's plan for you each and every day in your everyday life in a way that makes you more alive and more joyful. Yeah. Someone texted in, a great question, by the way, what does preternatural mean? And what would the example of that manifestation be?
Yeah, so it's something that's not supernatural, so it's not divine in the sense of like, say, all of a sudden your arm is healed and the whole arm appears. That would be something that's supernatural.
Okay.
These are, but there are also things that are above nature, so there are things that are above what human beings are capable of doing. So the three primary preternatural signs are
possession.
Of possession are speaking languages that they've never heard. So this the first case that I dealt with. One of the preternatural signs is that he spoke a form of Phoenician that had been defunct for 3,500 years, and he never finished high school. So
okay, that's a sign.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sign. The next one is...
How the heck did you even find out it was Phoenician?
We didn't even know. It sounded quasi-Aramaic, so we wrote it down phonetically and had a philologist take a look at it, and he said, we think this is how this language was spoken 3,500 years ago.
Wow.
So, and then the other one is occult knowledge. This comes in two forms. It's information that they would never know. So like, the first time you'll meet somebody, all of a sudden they start talking about things that happened in your childhood. They don't even know who you are. But then the other one is actually scientific knowledge. So it's the case I'm working with right now, the things that come out of this person's mouth under the control of the demon are theological distinctions that there's no way this woman could ever know these kinds of theological distinctions.
Okay.
So those are the three things that you can look for. And there was also that 5 signs that someone is casting an evil spell on you and doing black magic on you. But we're not going to watch that one, actually. Because I just looked at the time, and we are going to talk a little bit more about the
Amy, I think we lost your sound, unless it's just me. Folks in the chat room, can you hear Amy?
I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know either, but maybe you should play that video.
Yeah. My gosh. Like my whole screen, it just, everything X'd out, and I had to like restart my browser. I don't know. You guys, I'm never talking about this again. I'm not talking about this again. This is our last time about the D's. So here we go. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Today, I want to talk about...
Oh, that one.
Now to you. Okay, so these are 5 signs. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you a little story about how a evil spell was recently casted on me and how I discovered that it was, okay, and what I did, okay, to deal with it. Okay, so the first sign that there is an evil spell being put on you is somebody.
I said we were probably going to go about 2 hours tonight anyway, you guys. Don't worry. We are still going to get to the plunder and the Miller dad.
Is working behind the scenes, using information of yours, using some of your energy, okay, even conversations they had with you to put spells on you. One of the main signs is that you have unexplained energy drainage to the extreme, okay, to the point where suddenly you feel like you're like 50 years older, okay? You can only walk as fast as an elderly person. You know, you're walking really slow suddenly, okay? Suddenly, it doesn't matter how much protein you eat, how much fruit you eat. It doesn't matter what you drink. You can drink all the power drinks you want, okay? You can get all the sleep you want, and you just cannot seem to get your energy level up, okay? You're like, what the hell is this about? You're sleeping 4 hours over the time you usually sleep, okay? You feel like you are the walking dead, like you are exhausted and nothing can change it. That's how you feel, okay? So here's why that is a key sign that someone's casting a spell on you. When a evil spell is being cast on you, it is sucking your energy out from you, okay? Through this matrix. It's draining your energy through the spiritual cord that they have connected to you through whatever information and time you spent with them. Okay, it is a steady flow of sucking your energy out.
There is this channel that I watch. Oops.
They're doing it behind.
There is this channel that I watch, and he does like Reiki healings, and he looks like they call him Crystal Jesus. He looks like Jesus, and I swear he does these Reiki healings videos, and they pop up, and some of them will be like, somebody is sending you negative energy. This is a sign that you need to watch this. So I'll watch it, and he'll like do these cord cuttings and stuff. And I've been watching it I've been doing this quite often. And I have to say that my energy is up. I'm feeling more positive. I'm feeling more optimistic. Even though I'm not doing everything that I want to be doing, I'm doing more. And so I think some of it, even if it's like psychological, if it's, helping me, like if it's a placebo effect, I don't care. It's making me feel safer and better.
Well, that's good. Keep it up.
Does anyone else in chat, do anything like Reiki? Reiki? I think that's what you call it. Reiki?
Yes, Reiki.
It's movement of energy. I've been really enjoying it.
Behind the scenes in their home somewhere, or they're going into trances and sucking your energy, your life force out of you, okay? This is why it seems like no matter how you put energy in you, it seems like it's not in you, okay? All right, this recently happened to me. Now, I'm going to talk in another video how to test whether someone is actually casting spells on you or spying on you, because usually it's hand in hand. I hate to tell you this, when someone is casting an evil spell on you, they're usually spying on you at the same time too, using some type of tool, okay, or using their evil little Satan little ways that they got to.
Do you think NK was doing any of this type of stuff with Chris, casting these evil spells? And if because it was said that he wasn't sleeping he didn't have to sleep very much, but he would like pass out in the middle of a conversation in mid-sentence and then wake right back up where he left off like 10-15 minutes later, like it never even happened.
That is a very good sign that something was happening, yes. Especially if we could get confirmation on the crystal and book underneath the child's bed.
Yeah, we can't. The only reason we know that it's there was because of the police officer, and she didn't pull it out. She was just like, "Oh, there's a book and a rock under here." And the whole
Oh,
house is like spotless. If we're going to look at the house in a minute, and the whole house, you'll see it is spotless. There wouldn't be just a book and a rock underneath some of the child's bed, unless Bella put it there. But I don't know.
right.
To spy on you, such as using their own third eye, their own peering ability, okay, or remote viewing, okay, to spy on you. They may
So
even,
when he went to North Carolina, if this is true, and if she was doing this, I wonder what kind of remote viewing she was doing. Some people say she flew and was down there. I don't think she was down there, but I wonder what kind of remote viewing type of stuff she would do. Something with water, probably, right?
That was the first thought that popped into my mind was a scrying bowl of some sort.
Yeah.
Mhm.
even be leaving their body to go travel and go into your home and spy on you. That recently happened to me, okay? And then I noticed a big energy drainage. So that's how I knew I had a warlock, okay, sneaking in my home in spirit form and sucking my energy, okay? And they became aware that
You know what I can't believe I did last week? I didn't even ask the guest. She grew up with a wizard, and I didn't even ask what that was like. She grew up with a wizard, and I didn't even ask what that was like. Just, woo, that was like when I was growing up, I did a thing on Iraq. Or I did like a book report on Iraq, and the teacher asked me something like, where was it located on the map? And I couldn't even show her it. I was just like, just did the whole report, but I couldn't show her where it was on the map.
Well, you told me that you're going to have her back on, so we can ask her then.
Yeah.
I knew it's an interesting story. I'm gonna share with you, okay? But let's get to number 2, okay? You suddenly may seem like there is a foul smell following you around. You may be like, why is all this stench smell around me? You know you smell good. You know you shower. But suddenly you keep smelling crap, like trash, okay? You don't know where this foul smell is coming from, okay? This happened to me all in the same week when this warlock was spying on me and casting evil spells on me. I kept smelling rot and trash around me. It was like in my face as if there was a pile of trash.
That happened to me once. Just before I went off to college. There was this rotten smell I could smell in the living room, and I swear I would get on the floor and my nose was up against the carpet, and I could never figure out where that smell. No one else could smell it, but there was a rotten smell somewhere. And I think about that smell a lot, and this is interesting.
That is very
Following
interesting.
me around, okay?
Have you ever had something like that where there was this smell? And I'm going to be honest with you, that same smell came back at the side of my bed table when I lived at the the Hillsdale house. It came back. It came back on the side of my bed table just before I left that house.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't believe I've experienced that. No. But now I'm going to be suspicious.
I know.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks a lot.
Always here to help.
The reason why this happens is because, remember we said energy flows both ways, okay? When they're taking your energy, theirs is being sent to you too. So when they're casting spells, some of theirs is leaking and going towards you. And remember, the evil ones stink. Okay,
this kind of all makes sense, though. It all makes sense.
It does.
They do all kind of stuff to mask it. Okay, they do all kind of good things to make them look like they're good. Okay, which is just to hide their stench, their foulness, their evilness. Okay, but energy don't lie. Okay, let me tell you, spiritual energy does have a scent. Okay, I bet you didn't know that. Okay, I've been told mine smell like fresh milk.
I've always felt like Nicole Kessinger has that kind of scent, like, I don't know, just like not clean scent, because she strikes me as somebody who doesn't wear deodorant and stuff like that. And I've got that super sensitive smell. I can smell things a mile away, and things, if it's a bad smell, it like makes me sick to my stomach and I'll vomit. So it goes right to my stomach. Smells.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know, it's horrible. That's why I didn't even care when I got COVID for like the first 3 weeks. I was like, well, I don't even care. It's kind of nice. But then after a while, I was like, man, I need to smell again. You need to smell the taste. So, yeah.
Fresh earth. Someone said my natural, spiritual, sweaty type scent when my energy is more strong smells like berries, which is a high compliment because that means youth. It usually means also I have a spiritual angel with me that is the angel of youth, okay, of young age and beauty and things like that. Okay,
Ooh, I want that angel.
So, that stench
Me
smell,
too.
okay, it seems like no matter what you do, you spray Febreze, perfume, you be baby
Okay,
powder.
let's move forward from the smell. We know that's number 2.
Okay, someone's cursing me. Okay, all right. So the 4th sign that someone's cursing you and doing something evil, evil spell against
3.
you
Is
is that you suddenly start to feel like your ability to attract money isn't as strong. You was aligned with the creator. You was attracting money. Okay, all of a sudden it seems like money just stop. Not much money's coming to you. You like, what is going on here? I'm good. I'm kind. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and suddenly money's not flowing as fast to me anymore. As a matter of fact, it seems like as soon as it gets to me, something is telling me I have to pay a bill. Bills is coming almost at the exact time the money's coming. Okay, that is definitely a sign. All right. Okay, because see,
that's a sign. If that's a sign, that's what's happening.
Right. I was just thinking that someone is casting an even spell on me right now.
Trucker.
My whole life I've had a spell on me.
You mother trucker, you better stop it. Oh.
See, one thing is your chosen one power is always attracts money. But when it gets weak and hello, okay. So I'm back. Okay, so I had to pick this video up another day because I had some chosen one things I had to do. Okay, so let's continue.
Isn't it funny? She just stopped mid rant. Done. I'll take this up another day. Hello.
And why do they do videos in their cars?
A lot of people do videos in their cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, as quick as money comes to you, suddenly it got to leave your hands, okay? Or you may lose money.
Okay. So money isn't coming as
it
should.
I started acting out of character, okay? Totally opposite of me. Not remembering that
you start acting out of character. Those are the 5 signs that someone is casting a spell on you.
I think I missed one.
No. What ones did you get?
Okay, so energy, smell, no money, and out of character.
No, there was a second one right before that. It was I think we did miss one. Well, you know what? We don't need to watch the whole video. I will put it down in the link and go watch it for number 5 because I always say you need to go to these people's pages and support them anyway.
Okay.
I know that the crowd is roaring because they want to know what happened with the Miller. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Let me make sure. Hold on one second. I just need one moment. Be sure to guys, be sure to give this live a thumbs up. And if you like the content, subscribe. There it is. I don't know why, but every time I queue it up and then as soon as I know why, because my screen zeroed out. So this was the first live that we did when it all went down. This was the arrest record that we read. I will put the link in the description so that you can. It was 2 months ago that we did it. We're going to go over right into the plunder. And I think she goes over it. She also has the 911 call. So.
Are you okay there, Amy?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I've got too many things up right now. I'm sorry, you guys.
Oh, understandable.
I always have too many things. I was trying to think the other day, like, how do I, like, do this in a better way that I don't have to have so many things open, but I can't think of a better way. So. Okay.
Name and date of birth in the call.
Is this the one that you're saying? Let me make sure you're seeing the plunder one. Okay, you are.
Plunder, true crime audio.
4 units in route. It looks like the husband is drinking, but no drugs.
544.
Frederick 544 units in route. It looks like the husband is being aggressive, and there are also kids in the house.
I'll be right to the southwest substation. I'll have a trooper en route with me with 3 juveniles. No.
Frederick 544 units on scene dispatch status.
Dispatch 544. Did you status check us? Everyone's code 4. I have 1 male in custody. We'll get his ID in a second. You contact the on-call victim's advocate, and either they can respond here, or if they want, they can call my work cell.
You heard that police audio dispatch correctly. Out of Frederick, Colorado, being summoned once again to that infamous house, 2825 Saratoga Trail in Frederick, Colorado. Beautiful home, haunting home. The home we saw featured in so many body cam videos back in 2018. Yes, it's the home of Chris and Shanann Watts. Well, it used to be until the Millers purchased the home.
Hey, Chris. So we need to have.
I like that porch.
Can you believe the?
Yeah, it's beautiful. She in this video, she puts the report up, but I can't read it like I did last time because she doesn't have as good of I can't capture it. So we are going to have to watch a good portion of this video.
That's okay.
Summon the police as well when the husband, quote unquote, started going crazy on the wife. I've been really digging into this because I'm so fascinated by it. Let's explain what happened that day. Shakespeare could not have written such a plot, and sometimes life truly is stranger than fiction. So it was Sunday, February 11th, this year, 2024. It was actually Super Bowl Sunday. Another Sunday when something sinister happened in that house, and the husband began to allegedly, according to these court documents, according to the charges he pled guilty to, act with violence against his wife. And there's even a child abuse charge in here. So the sun had just set about an hour earlier, about 5:30 p.m. in Frederick, Colorado. 1 hour later, as darkness began to fall upon that home, upon that area, trouble was once again afoot. Now, even though the home looks a little different, it's more spruced up from when we saw it being built by Chris and Shanann Watts and how they had it decorated and all the controversy therein. I can't help but wonder if the same wife-hating and child-hating spirit or something is lurking around that house. The dark paint might be gone on the outside.
Charlotte, I think you nailed it right there. They said, so with these Millers, are we thinking it's a mix of alcohol, a night with friends, and low emotional maturity, maybe cheating? I think it was a mixture of all of that because we're going to hear about people racing up into the loft, and I don't know, it's going to be a lot. So
I wonder too if they just the fact that they know they're in that house if they fall back on it, well, it is the former Watts house, if they're playing into it, using it as an excuse.
I don't know. I guess I don't think they are, like, maybe in private they are, but I don't think any of that comes up, because she's going to read like what happened. Like she's going to read the officer's report, like the entire thing. And normally I would grab it and read it, but she doesn't put it anywhere that I can do that. And I couldn't find it up on the court site yet. So I don't know where she got it, to be honest.
That hideous color that Chris Watts chose, dark for the front of the home and the back of the home, the way it used to be. Well, the Millers lightened it up, but that in and of itself apparently wasn't enough.
I'd like to go through your house. Are you okay with searching through your house? All right.
And now we're going to learn more. Break up a 12-year marriage and experience a violent night that once again brought cops to the home. It was exactly 2008 days after Chris Watts took the lives of his pregnant wife, Shanann Watts, who was pregnant with their beautiful baby boy, Nico Lee Watts, and he took the life also of his daughters, Bella and Celeste Watts. That tragedy happened sometime Sunday, August 12th, as it bled into Monday, August 13th. 2008 days later, on February 11th, 2024, another would-be tragedy was happening. Thank God it was averted. Thank God no one lost their lives in this altercation. So it all started around 6:32 p.m. So says the Frederick Police Department's offense report. Dispatch aired a disturbance in progress at a redacted home, at least according to the reports, but we heard it there in our ears. It's the Saratoga Trail home. I'd heard rumors and rumblings, and for months I've been tracking down exactly what happened that night. The parties involved were the Millers. Justin Miller is the husband. It's all a matter of public record. His name has been listed in an arrest report right there. For February 11th, 2024, there was only one person booked into the Weld County Jail, and that was the husband, Justin Miller, arrested February 11th at 6:53 p.m. We could hear them say one male in custody, and unfortunately, there was a victim's advocate, which would be needed, presumably for Justin's wife, and there were 3 juveniles in tow with the officer. So apparently, the juveniles had to go with the officer, at least temporarily, while this melee broke out, and they got their dad in custody, and their mom was likely getting help. She refused medical attention, even though she had a cut. How ominous. Now, people ironically know the Millers. The Millers went viral when...
So there was some kind of injury that happened during all of this. This is just so sad. It's so sad.
Their realtor posted their photos, and they became known as the couple who bought the home from the Watts, as it were. And there were so many eerie similarities that people began to notice. They got some controversy. They got some backlash. If you want to catch up on all that, check out the playlist of the whole Watts-Miller house case, linked to below. Well, people were hoping that the Millers would be able to fill the Watts home with love. They hoped, okay, Shanann had a dream. Shanann wanted to live happily ever after with her husband, Chris Watts, and her children, 2 girls and a boy. Chris Watts interrupted that plan. Demonically, he did not let that happen. Now he's serving the rest of his life in prison, as he should. So it was full of hope. The Millers went through so much to purchase that home. They got that home, they moved in, and they took an eerie photo, which people couldn't help but compare to Chris and Shanann. Mrs. Miller was standing there in Shanann's kitchen, as it were, with the cabinets that Shanann's dad helped install and all of that. She stood there with some kind of black shirt. It was kind of off the shoulder, I guess. Next to her husband, he had a beard, and the 2 older girls and the little boy, the baby. Some familiar names from some officers, maybe some who aren't, but it tripped me out that immediately upon hearing that Saratoga Trail address, officers responded. As soon as they heard a husband was going crazy in that infamous home, which was the site of so much tragedy, maybe they had a little bit of PTSD or something. So this first report from Officer Ed Goodman speaks of the date and time of the offense occurring on February 11th, 2024 at 6:32 p.m. Justin would end up being charged with harassment, obstruction of telephone or telegraph service, child abuse, acted knowingly or recklessly where no death or injury results, and domestic violence definitions. There's a lot of redactions, so you will hear me saying a lot of blanks or not saying the person's name or assuming who they're talking about. Now, this first victim, who's a witness, I believe it could be the wife, it's a person with blonde hair, green eyes, 5 feet 4 inches tall, and weighs 135 pounds. This report was approved by Officer Scott Coonrod, and that's definitely a name I remember from the Watts days. And it also lists the person arrested, who we presume, of course, Well, we don't have to presume. He's listed in the Frederick Police Department records. Justin Miller, he's 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. On Sunday, February 11th, 2024 at approximately 6:32 p.m., dispatch aired a disturbance in progress at blank, that infamous home. Of course, this is going to leave viewers asking the same questions again and again we've been asking for years. Is that home haunted? The suspect and 2 victims would later be identified to me verbally as blank blank. So, the wife had advised dispatch of some of the following. She'd had friends over. Justin thinks she's cheating on him, then broke a wine glass. Justin was acting crazy. Yes, there had been drinking, but no drugs. Justin is being aggressive. Someone is vacuuming the broken glass. Their kids are in the house. She is crying. Justin gets really angry and does this. She was scared Justin would take the kids and leave. Justin is really scary when he is mad. Justin took her phone and threw it before she could call 911. She did not want him around her anymore. I arrived on scene after other officers had already made contact with blank, and I was advised that Justin was in the garage. I went into the garage and made contact with Justin and Frederick Officer Fountain, and as I did so, he explained the following. He and his wife had been married for 12 years. Tonight, his wife and her friend, only identified as Bonnie, had been up in the loft. Now we're going to learn about there's cameras up there. We remember that loft, that infamous loft, where the girls, Cece and Bella, used to jump and play. Shanann had her Pittsburgh Steelers blankets and everything up there. We're going to learn about all the video cameras that Justin has trained on that area. He saw his wife cheat on him with Bonnie on camera when Bonnie and his wife had kissed. Bonnie had turned and looked in his direction, and then kissed his wife. He confronted his wife and he was upset. He slapped the glass his wife had been holding out of her hand. Now, Justin voluntarily showed a recorded video he had on his phone, which he said was from that night, and 2 females could be seen sitting close to each other on a couch. One female, he identified her as Bonnie, turned and looked towards the camera, then turns to face his wife and kisses her quickly on the lips. Now, of course, we haven't seen that video yet. If we get all the discovery and the videos I've recorded.
That's interesting. It sounds like NK, but only NK with the woman.
Yeah, I mean, she's looking right at the camera. But I don't know. Don't you think that most men, if they like saw their wife kissing another woman, they'd like enjoy it?
Well, it sounds like he has been worried about it, so maybe this is something that's ongoing, because if he's got cameras trained up in the loft area and he's like taking video of her, it sounds like this might be something ongoing. And if the woman looked directly at him and was like, I'm gonna kiss her right in front of you and you can't do anything, it would be like another man, I would think.
But how would she know there were cameras?
Well, he said that she turned and looked at, he was taking the video and she turned and looked right at him and looked at the camera.
Oh, okay. I was thinking hidden camera. I'm sorry.
Well, I think he's got cameras. In addition, I think he's got cameras up in the loft, but it sounded to me like he was taking a camera with his phone. Like, I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Requested, we might see it. Won't it be weird to see inside that house once again, but different people in there and a different crime case happening? It sounds like this woman, Bonnie, did this on purpose. The wife is going to talk about not having drank this much wine, usually having a few glasses. The husbands are downstairs, I guess, watching the Super Bowl. Maybe it hadn't started yet or whatever, pre-gaming. And the wife and kids may have been upstairs. Maybe some kids were downstairs. But it sounds like since this woman, Bonnie, knew that all these cameras were around, she knew she was being watched. She looked directly at the camera, then turned and planted a kiss on Justin's wife. Maybe she was just trying to get his goat or something. I don't know. I then went to speak with the wife, who was speaking with Frederick Sergeant Flunker. As I spoke with her, she made statements that she was afraid.
It'll be important to hear what the wife says, too.
of her
Oh,
husband,
definitely.
and that tonight, when he confronted her, he had smacked a wine glass out of her hand, knocking it to the floor. She pointed down to the carpet, where I observed a red stain, which she identified as the red wine that had been in her glass. She also showed me her right middle finger, and on the inside, the side next to her ring finger, I observed what appeared to be a small, fresh abrasion, which is kind of sad that there was kind of something harmful, a little cut or something, bruise, no matter what. This is why later when Justin went to court, watch my previous video where I explained what happened in court. Maybe that's why he felt so remorseful. No matter what was happening, whether Bonnie was jokingly kissing his wife or not, he understood. I believe
he did go to court. He took a responsibility for it all, and the child endangerment was dropped. I think that was just put there because they were doing all this nonsense in front of the kids.
He realized he had no right to get physical with his wife and smack some wine glass out of her hand, make the glass shatter, and even hurt her finger. I again went to the garage where Officer Fountain was still in contact with blank and blank and made a claim that while he had been away on a recent work trip, there had been another meeting between Bonnie and his wife at the house which had upset him. So apparently Justin was away on some work trip. I don't know what he does, I forget. And he was upset that this woman, Bonnie, was visiting his wife. After further investigation, I was advised that he and his wife had been married for 12 years and had 3 children together, and all 3 children were biologically both of theirs. Now, when they talk about talking with Justin, the husband, in the garage, I can just see every single video almost that Shanann recorded. It's like I almost know.
We all can see, like, people that are very interested in the Watts case can, I'm going to skip around a little bit, you guys. I will put the link down below. I think we can all see the inside the garage and the choice of it being unfinished and the basement being unfinished. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then did one of the children see his or her dad slap the wine glass out of their mother's hand and start crying. I was further advised that blank had not seen the incident or been affected, as they had been downstairs along with a neighbor and his 12-year-old daughter. So the other 2 children likely did not witness the incident. While explaining the arrest to blank, she was crying and made statements that she was scared of blank, as well as having concerns about her financial concerns. Boy, here we go again. Another couple moving into that house, purchasing it for $600,000. Boy, doesn't it make you flash back to Shanann.
But isn't my understanding, this isn't their only house. My understanding, the house has been dropped even to like 600,000 now, but they have another house, and now he is living at this house, the Watts house, and she's living at their old house. So
okay. So like they didn't sell their previous house before they, okay, that makes sense.
If they were using it as a B&B or if they were trying to sell it. I can't really remember why, but that's what's happening. He supposedly is at the Watts house and they're at the old house.
And Chris, and of course, all their money problems, all the controversy about spending, about MLMs like Thrive by Lavelle that Shanann was selling, how they were underwater on their mortgage or just behind on their mortgage months and months. They hadn't paid their HOA. They were able to get a 401k loan of $10,000 from Chris Watts's 401k to kind of catch up on their mortgage, but I think it was going to be behind again. We've gone over all their bankruptcy woes.
Very similar situation. The Shanann and Chris were very behind on their HOAs. They were being taken to court. In fact, I think that week or that month they were having to go to court for this thing, and maybe it was another bankruptcy. I don't know, but I mean that was even planned, and maybe that was weighing heavy on his mind too.
Possibly.
The past, and now we have another wife in this house where they worked and worked and worked. According to the realtor, it must have taken a lot of doing for this couple, the Millers, to get into that home. But whatever they did, I mean, obviously they qualified for it and they were able to move in. And now this year, months ago, just over 6 months ago, we have another wife standing here talking to cops. Too bad Shanann couldn't make it to the point where she was there talking to the cops. We have this woman standing here talking to the cops, quote, having concerns about her financial concerns. So if you read between the lines a lot, this wife was scared of her husband, and she has 3 children, and I can't help but flashback to Shanann texting her friends, how will I get divorced in Colorado and take care of 3 kids on my own?
I don't know. I feel like this is different because I almost feel like this wife is having an affair with What'd they call her? Donna? Whoever this woman friend. I feel like she's having an affair.
I do too. Bonnie. I think her name's Bonnie.
Bonnie. Sorry, Bonnie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's different.
I do too. And
Where is an affair, really?
I would love to see the videos. You know, the one that made him angry when he was away on business, and then the one that caused him to smack the wine glass out of her hand. I would love to see both of those videos.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to release those. I don't know if they have them because it didn't really go to court because he just, pled guilty to it. But if they're out there, Plunder's going to get them. I have faith in her.
Anne had her own financial concerns. And now we have this woman almost walking out the path of Shanann. Maybe the wine glass out of his wife's hand and was being very confrontational. There were children in the home and he was following her around the house. Upon arrival, I observed the front windows of the residence to be open.
That's a truly horrible way, like when your partner follows you around and fights with you. That's horrible.
That is horrible. Mm-hmm.
Open and the lights on in the front room. So we can just imagine that porch and those front windows and the front room. I observed a male, later identified as Justin Miller, standing in the front room. As I walked up to the residence, someone closed the blinds and opened the front door. I called out his name, Justin, to which he replied, "I am." He stated his wife, later identified as Mrs. Miller, I'll just keep calling her, was inside and he knew police had been called. Justin asked to go inside to put shoes on. I asked if we could come inside, which he stated we could. So there is footage apparently of them inside this house. He indicated that his wife was upstairs. I proceeded upstairs and observed his wife to be crying and speaking to someone on the telephone.
Sounds like she's making note that there's this body cam footage. So if she's going to get the body cam footage and Justin is showing him a video of the kiss, it's probably on the body cam footage. Police body cam footage, I should say.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine again seeing body cam footage of cops ascending that same staircase, the same staircase that Chris Watts drug his pregnant wife down after strangling her. I advised Mrs. Miller that if she was on the phone with 911, she could hang up now. She was extremely upset and crying. She told me the following in response to my questions. Her and Justin have been married for 12 years and have 3 children together. They had friends over this evening to watch the Super Bowl. Mrs. Miller and her friend Bonnie were upstairs playing video games. Both were sitting on a love seat. Bonnie leaned over to kiss her on the cheek at the same time that Mrs. Miller turned her face to her. The kiss landed on her lips. I believe another officer came upstairs and had Justin go to the garage with him. Once in the garage, Justin accused his wife of cheating on him with...
I'm calling shenanigans on that one. I don't believe it. I don't know. Do you believe that the whole turn your face just as you're going to give a kiss on the cheek, lips collide story?
I'm very open and friendly with my friends. I don't think I have any friends that would just lean over and plant a kiss on my cheek.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. Let me think if I do. Let me think. Maybe in the beginning we might kiss each other on the cheek when we first see each other. That might be like maybe. I vaguely remember somebody doing that, but
yeah, I mean, I have a couple friends that, we may, kiss each other on the cheek as we're leaving or something, but never not while you're like just sitting on the couch hanging out. So no, I agree with you. I don't believe that. I agree with the shenanigans on that one.
let's take it to the chat. If you have a friend that you do this with, put a 1. If you have no friends that you do this with, put a 2. Except for like hello and goodbye. We're not counting those. If you're just sitting there and out of the blue, do you have a friend that you do this with or that would do this to you? 1, yes. 2, no. I'm very curious.
Bonnie. He showed someone surveillance footage of the incident between Bonnie and his wife, as there is a camera that points in that direction. Someone had been drinking beers, someone stated several, and his wife had 3 glasses of wine. Justin continued to yell at his wife and get in her face. Justin went back upstairs where her son and blank now was, along with Bonnie. So I'm assuming this is before the officers got there, so I don't know who came upstairs and had who go into the garage with him. Maybe Justin grabbed a different guy before the police got there and said, look at this, Bonnie kissed my wife. Someone was now sitting on the love seat playing a video game, and Bonnie and Mrs. Miller were standing behind the love seat. Mrs. Miller was holding a glass of wine. Justin came upstairs again and started yelling at both his wife and Bonnie. Justin then hit his wife's hand with the wine glass in it, knocking the wine glass to the carpeted floor, shattering the glass. He had to knock it pretty hard if it's a carpeted floor and the glass still breaks. Justin
that
then
carpet looks entirely plush, which I am so shocked that they didn't replace the carpet. But I mean, even though the Watts were very clean, you don't know what got into that carpet that last night. But it looks like it was very plush carpet for it to shatter on the carpet.
Well, unless it was very fragile wine glass.
Yeah, like sometimes the cheap wine glasses do break very easily. That's right. That's true.
Like if they were crystal, like very thin crystal. And, maybe just the impact of him hitting it.
It sounds to me like maybe it hit she might have had a ring on or something. And to me, it seems like it hit the ring and then it probably shattered at her hand, but she doesn't know that. And then it was like fell to the ground. That's my guess.
Yeah.
went into their bedroom and took his wife's cell phone and took it downstairs. She believed this was so she could not call police. Justin continued to yell at his wife and Bonnie, telling Bonnie to leave. Bonnie and her husband, who had been downstairs during the incident, left the residence. So I guess Bonnie and her husband didn't see Justin knocking the glass out of his wife's hand. Mrs. Miller was able to locate her cell phone and called 911. She stated multiple times that she was very afraid of Justin and did not know how far he would take things. I can't even imagine being in that home, knowing what Chris did to Shanann in that home. All of a sudden, her own husband.
She had to have been pretty scared to call the police, though, knowing what she knows about the house. It seems like it would be a lot for me if it were me to call the police, knowing what I know about the house.
I wonder too, what their relationship was like prior to them moving into that house.
Yeah.
If
a lot of people put in my comments that there's a lot of domestic that goes on in Colorado. I don't know if that's true. That's just something that's been put a lot, that there's a lot of it that's that happens in Colorado.
That'd be something to think about. Yeah.
To me, she would have to be really afraid to call the police.
Husband, as she puts it, is going crazy, acting aggressively, and is knocking a wine glass out of her hand. And she's afraid of him and she doesn't know how far he'll take it. She did not feel safe with Justin in the house. She did not believe he would hurt the children, but did believe he might hurt her. Boy, that's sad. Other officers were speaking with Justin in the garage while I was upstairs with the wife. I photographed her right middle finger where I observed some redness. She stated it did not hurt, but the marks were caused by Justin hitting the wine glass out of her hand. She refused medical treatment when offered. I also photographed the wine stain on the carpet where she stated the wine glass had fallen. Someone had already cleaned up all the glass prior to our arrival. It was probably her. I later uploaded the photographs to evidence.com. So here's praying in Jesus' name they give me an evidence.com link soon. Officer Goodman came upstairs and spoke with the wife. I briefly advised him of my conversation with her. I advised him someone was also upstairs during this incident. Officer Goodman returned to the garage, and I heard officers air over police radio that Justin was placed into custody at approximately 6:53 p.m. I asked Mrs. Miller to remain upstairs while I checked on everyone downstairs. I spoke briefly with Blank, who stated Blank knocked the glass out of Mrs. Miller's hand and was yelling at her. He was visibly upset. So there was some other witnesses there. There were other adults there because it was a Super Bowl party. So this man was upset. He knew that Justin knocked this wine glass out of his wife's hand. I spoke with the Miller's other children, I believe, who both stated they did not witness the incident, but they heard the yelling and the glass breaking. A next-door neighbor and his daughter had also been downstairs during the incident. Someone stated he heard the argument and the glass breaking.
I wonder what neighbor and daughter was there. What do you guys think? What next door neighbor and daughter do you think arrived? Do you think it was they? Oh no, it would be like 5 years later, so that daughter would be in her 20s now. Wow.
I personally don't know anything about the neighbors. I
didn't think you did.
I
I
don't
was just
follow
looking
the case.
over to chat to see if anyone has any guesses.
But did not believe Justin would do anything to hurt his family. Isn't it crazy and eerie how that's the same thing so many people said about Chris Watts? Once Justin had been removed from the residence, I advised his wife of his arrest. She was both upset and visibly relieved. I can imagine that feeling, like upset and worried about him and the situation, but also relieved that he's away and he's going to be locked up at least temporarily. I asked her if there were any weapons in the house or if Justin had access to any guns. She stated they had recently sold their last gun, so there were none in the house that she was aware of. That's a blessing with a guy acting kind of off the chain like he was acting. It's a good thing that they didn't have any weapons in the house. I explained to her what the next steps would be and was advised by Officer Goodman that a victim advocate had been contacted and was on their way to the residence to speak with her and the children. Blank stated he would remain with her until the victim advocate arrived. Blank provided me with Bonnie's phone number. I spoke with Bonnie over the telephone. She told me the following in response to my questions. Mrs. Miller and Bonnie were upstairs playing video games when Justin comes up. Blank, leave that area and go somewhere else. I don't know what that means. It's redacted. When she comes back, she tells Bonnie that Justin is freaking out. So I guess a couple of people, it must be Justin and the guy, leave that area and go somewhere else. Perhaps when the wife comes back, she tells Bonnie that Justin is freaking out. Justin then comes back upstairs, yells at both of them, smacks the wine glass out of her hand, causing it to break, and gets glass everywhere. This causes the wife to start crying while Justin is still yelling at them and telling Bonnie to leave while accusing Mrs. Miller of cheating on him. Someone then brings up a vacuum cleaner upstairs and cleans up the broken glass. That makes sense because, with wine.
Isn't that crazy? During all of this, someone brings a vacuum cleaner up and cleans up the glass.
That is crazy. You would think they would want to leave it there for the cops to
see. Somebody comes up and cleans up the glass.
And glass and kids.
Where can I find that person? Because I need them to come and do some work for me.
Doesn't mix broken glass. You got to get that stuff up right away. Even though, of course, it is evidence. I guess the smarter thing to do would be like, okay, kids, okay, everyone stay away from the glass. You don't necessarily think about the cops needing to take videos of that evidence. Bonnie states that Mrs. Miller believes Justin is going to hurt her, but won't leave because she won't leave the children there. So obviously, Mrs. Miller is worried about Justin hurting her, but she doesn't want to, of course, abandon her children. Maybe that's why she stayed in the marriage. I don't know what their history was. Bonnie stated Justin never touched her and she was not injured. Bonnie was concerned about giving her address as she did not want Blank to find out where she lived. Maybe Bonnie was like, look, I don't want Justin to know where I live.
I don't trust Bonnie.
Because I saw the way he just treated his wife, so no. I let Blank know that I had spoken with Bonnie. At the time of this report, I have no further involvement in this case. See other officers' report for further info, I guess. I recorded this contact with my body-worn camera and later uploaded my BWC footage to evidence.com. So there's another video.
Okay, so we're going to stop it here. Of course, I will link it and you guys can go watch it. It just sounds like we're getting different reports from different angles now. And it sounds like it was a domestic incident.
Yes.
Do you think the house had anything to do with it? The energy in the house?
I can't answer that until I know if they for sure had issues before they moved into the house. Now, they did say that he had never touched her like that before, but, have they been having marital issues?
Well, I don't think you become scared overnight. I don't think you get scared just for that one incident. Like it sounded like she was like really afraid, like he's not going to hurt the kids, but I don't know what he's going to do to me type deal. I don't think that happens overnight, does it? In one incident?
If you're taken off guard by the violent incident,
but just by someone knocking listen, violence is violence and it's horrible. But knocking a wine glass out of your hand, violence?
And maybe she, is seeing the hand coming towards her, and thankfully it only made contact with the wine glass. But, if he'd been docile before and that just happened, that would scare me. And maybe, knowing what the house that they live in, that might have had some sort of impression on her as well.
Yeah, you're right. If he was docile and then all of a sudden did that, that would be completely scary. I guess I just don't like the police, and it would take a lot for me to call the police. I don't trust the police. I've had bad experiences with the police. I'm sorry if you're a police officer. I'm sure you're a good one. If you're watching me, you're a good police officer, but I've had horrible experiences with police officers, and so maybe I'm like, it would take a lot for me to call the police.
Yeah, not so much for me, although I don't know as that I would have done so with a house full of people. I don't know. I don't know that I would have called them in this situation if I were her, Mrs. Miller.
What do you guys think? Would you have called the police if your husband smacked a glass out of your hand and that was the first time he'd ever done it? Would you immediately call the police because you were so scared of him? Or would you assume, like what I'm doing, which is probably wrong to assume, that there's been more violence and more threats, and this was just like over the top, like I don't know what else he's going to do next type of deal?
Yeah, because for me, calling the police is, it's like, okay, this is it. This is the last thing. We're calling the police, and now my life will never be the same.
I suppose if you've never called the police before and you don't know what's about to come down on you, you might call the police.
Maybe.
But it sounds horrible. If you're being abused, freaking please call the police, guys,
Yes.
or get help. This is just my personal experience. I want nobody to be harmed because they didn't call the police. I'm just saying, me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and we're able to weigh this out with a rational mind too. We didn't have our wine glass slapped out of our hand, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the energy in the house kind of like, if we know that if they already had problems in their relationship, and if there was a negativity in the house, it would have like niggled away. Is that the word? Niggled away at it. And just it just eats away at the problem that you have, and
Yeah.
that's just it gets, and then you start fighting, and there's more fighting, and it makes you think thoughts that you wouldn't normally think. Just all these, what we said in the beginning, these are all signs. So it would be very interesting to hear if they had problems before. I also would like to know I would really like to know what NK did in the house. Like, because she was there with him. She'll admit to being there with him twice in the house. I think it's twice, but I think it was more. But what was she doing in the house?
Right. And we don't know what she might have done on her own, like outside on the property. She could have, come in the middle of the night and buried stuff on the property, and you never know.
Yeah, you don't know. I don't know, but there has been, I have been trying to do research and saving things when I come across like this sex magic, this blood magic that supposedly NK did. If I see a comment or I haven't yet come across anybody doing any. I don't have I don't have anything I could bring to people for Alive to prove or just, to show that she was doing it. I've heard whispers and rumors, but I've never been able to. It's like, how do you wrangle whispers and rumors into? Yeah.
Well, it's fun to speculate at least.
Yeah. But I couldn't create a whole live around it because I would be speculating the whole time. I wouldn't be able to bring like, this is what we know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I could be like, this is what blood magic looks like. And this is what I could. Yep. I could do it probably.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, we're going to do it. Maybe next week we'll do it. If
Yeah.
you guys want it, we will do an NK. Did she do black magic in the house? Let me know if you want to do it. Put a 1 if you want us to do it. Put a 2 if you want us to move on. Move along, little missies.
I really actually, now the more that we talk about it, I want to do it.
I do too. The more I talk about it, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Let's see what people are saying over in chat. Harlot says, "Oh, fun! I'm here for it. I'll talk about that OTO empanada." He called her his sexy empanada, and so there's a lot of empanada jokes.
Oh,
which
okay.
are perfect. Harlot says, I'm just scrolling up. OTO is a pet topic of mine, and when I saw NK's links in this case, I've been diving in for years. I can't believe the way they dropped the ball on her text. Oh, that's another thing. We can go through her text, and I think there's also texts about him doing research trying to find a specific crystal for her. I forget the name of the crystal offhand. So we can do it.
Yeah.
Black magic. Black magic. So black magic also got evil spirits there. So you think there's black magic done in there and there was evil spirits? Maggie says 1, so she's here for it. Velveteen Rabbit Red Fern says, I never called the cops on him in 8 years, but my neighbor did. And when he came back the next day, I got all the wrath. Listen, you guys, I'm not saying don't call the police.
Yeah.
If you are being severely abused, please call the police. I guess I'm just saying if this was the only incident and it's a wine glass and there's a party, I just don't know if I would have called the police, but I don't know.
I'm looking at this comment from Ellie. She said she would have called the police because she would have secretly made a pact to herself that if anything weird started to happen, it was something negative in the house and could end very badly. I agree, Ellie. I think I would have done that. Now that you said that.
That is actually a good point, Ellie.
I would definitely, knowing what house I was moving into. First of all, I don't think I would have moved into it, but it was a great value apparently. And I would have had my eyes peeled for anything out of the ordinary. You're right.
I don't know. I think I would have moved into it. Now I don't know. I would seriously think twice about it now. But I would do but I think I would still do it. I think I would. The only thing that would bother me is the looky-loos. I because I'm such a paranoid person, I would think they're looking at me. Like, why are they staring at me? Forgetting that the house is what they're staring. Well, they'd probably be staring at me because I bought the house. But I don't like people watching me in that way without knowing I'm being watched. Like somebody said on one of the videos that I did, because Shanann did this video where she hid behind a rocker when Chris found out that she was pregnant with the baby number 2, she was secretly filming him. And she's like, I wouldn't have that would have stopped. No secret filming of me. And I thought about that. And I'm like, yeah, maybe if it was like only going to be home videos, but she put everything up on the internet. So I would have been like, no secret filming. We can't do that.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
dear. Maybe we'll talk about this after the show tonight. But I thought, how fun would it be to maybe get one of our psychic friends to come on too, and see if they get any feelings about that in the house, and if it's spirits.
Let's find one that we really, really trust. Let's come after the show. Shannon and I have interviewed a lot of psychics, so let's put our heads together after the show, one that we really, really trust, and we will try to get them on, because the one that, like, I don't want to say that I don't trust them all, but I just, yeah, I just, you've got to make up your own mind if you trust them or not. And I think Shannon and I can come up with a good one.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, that's what we'll do. So we're gonna start winding this down, you guys. Who broke their elbow? Oh no, Velveteen. I hope that you're healing. Oh, Miss Murdaw's here. I haven't seen her in a long time. Harlot says, of course I love shedding light on empathy and the occultism around this case. I have a lot of question around NK's dad too, but yes, there's a lot of her dad is supposed to be part of the Masonic temple or something like that, so we can go over that as well. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, there's a lot we can go over next week. Okay, guys. Shannon, do you have anything else that you think you want to bring up before we go?
Well, I'm curious, Harlot O'Hara, are you a psychic at all, or are you just an expert on this particular subject?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm just interested because they seem to know a lot about it. So I would love to pick their brain.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that know a lot about this case because we're all very, very interested in it.
And I'm the oddball that had no clue about it until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but now once people either love the case or they just don't want to even talk about it at all. And so, oh my gosh, and you just got over COVID? My gosh, Velveteen Rabbit, please heal.
Oh no.
Yeah, everyone's saying feel better. I haven't seen them reply, so we'll just look for it in the comments after the show. If you guys have any insider information or if you've seen anything, we will, be sure to say it's speculation or if it's proven fact. But if you have anything, please feel free to email me at parawomenradio@gmail.com. I actually just got us a website. It's going to be parawomenradio.live. And it has an email. Yeah, that has an email that comes with it. I just haven't gotten it going yet. There's just like a landing site for it right now. But right now it's parawomenradio@gmail.com. And please remember that women is plural. Sometimes I think people put it as singular and it doesn't get to me.
Oh, it looks like Harlot O'Hara responded in the chat, Amy.
Okay. They said, Harlot says both, although expert is very kind. LOL. I do know a fair share, and am open to talking always. Raised in the occult and came through up a lot of red flags for me when the case first broke. Will you email me at parawomenradio@gmail.com, Harlot, and we can talk? Anybody who maybe we'll even do an open session. I was thinking of doing an open panel where people can come up and talk about this if they want to, because I know that a lot of people know a lot about it and want to talk about it. And yeah, just that we are a channel that allows all opinions welcome. And as those opinions are being said, if it's not your opinion, of course, say what your opinion is, but we do it in kind ways. Two things can be true at once, and two people can have varying opinions and still get along here.
Mhm.
So,
Harlot O'Hara's from Michigan.
Michigan.
I'm in Kalamazoo. Are you near Kalamazoo, dear?
We're pulling you in. The Michigan vibe is strong.
And are you a Scorpio? That would be very important to know if you're a Scorpio.
This is crazy, but my two mods, they're both from Tennessee, and one's a Scorpio.
Oh.
The Scorpio vibe is strong. Yeah, thank you so much. Chris C put this up for me. Here's my email.
Oh, good. Oakland County.
Oh, that's where I'm from, Oakland County. Or I grew up in Oakland. I'm from Royal Oak. That's where I grew up. Where did you grow up? Or where are you in Oakland County?
I grew up in I'm just saying this now because I thought you were talking to me. I grew up in Wayne County, 8 Mile and Gratiot, actually. And then when I was 19, we moved to Hillsdale County. And now I'm in Kalamazoo County.
You were at 8 Mile and Gratiot, and I was at 9 Mile and Woodward Heights.
That is crazy. Oh, that is crazy.
That is very crazy. I can't find where she put that. I saw that she put the email, but now I don't see it. So you guys are talking too much. Stop talking so I can find stuff. Just keep chatting.
I see it. I see it. It's about 10. Oh, no. 10 up. Okay. Sorry. Oh, Waterford.
Okay, you guys, it's Parawomen. Oh, Waterford. Oh, you're downriver. Livonia. Okay. Do you know what we used to call people downriver?
No.
I don't know what they called us. I'm sure they called us something, but we called them river rats. I wonder what they called us from Royal Oak. That would be interesting.
Snobs.
That's like
no.
I went to Kimball High School. I think it's called Royal Oak High School now.
That's where my cousins went.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I think I knew that. And the kids that would go underneath the ramp, we had this ramp, and they would smoke. We would call them ramp rats. So I think that's where we got river rats from.
That's funny.
Or that's where we got ramp rats from. I don't know. Oh, Kristen's in Ohio. See, we've got a few people from Ohio.
Yeah, we sure do.
Where we met Shannon and I in Hillsdale. It was very close to the Ohio border.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Oh, ex-boyfriend from Detroit. Detroit was a lot of fun to go into, and we used to go over to Canada because you could drink at 19 in Canada. So yeah,
I was not. I went to Canada to go Canadian bowling.
Oh,
5-pin bowling.
We would always go under we never took the bridge. We'd go under the tunnel, and they'd be like, "Where are you going?" And we'd be like, "Mother's Pizza," and then we'd go and drink. So yeah. And then later, when I talked to somebody else, they're like, "Yeah," I'm like, all those guards were probably like, "Yeah, okay, you're going to Mother's Pizza." Okay, guys,
I wasn't
want to head out, I'm just going to let the people know that we're not going to be talking about the case anymore. We're just going to kind of be talking. So if you want to head out, that's all I've got for the night. I love you guys. Bye. Okay, go ahead, Shannon.
Oh, I didn't turn 18 until I was already in college. So I did not experience that going to Canada to drink. I was also going to a Bible college that basically they said, even if you're caught drinking when you're not at college, you'll be expelled. So
yeah, I know that because one of my sisters, I was a Greek. We came and rescued one of her best friends that went to your college. We came and rescued her from there one night so she could come party with us at our event. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Another funny, we went to school very close together, you guys. Nearby.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think aren't you only like a year older than me?
Yeah. And you're an October Scorpio though. So that's about the only difference in us.
Yep.
Okay, guys, that was fun going down memory lane.
That was.
We've got people from Scorpios. We've got people from Ohio. We've got people from Michigan. I love it. We've got people from Australia, New Zealand, India. I mean, we've just got people from all over, and it's a lot of fun.
That is fun.
Yeah, we're growing. We're very close. I was trying to get us up to 4,000 over on YouTube. We're very close. So be sure and check to see if you're subscribed. We're at 3,789 over on YouTube. We got like 400 this month. Or last month, sorry. Wait.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And the month before we got near 600. So.
Oh.
We're picking up steam.
How fun.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to head out. Shannon, thank you so much for being here with me.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, Virgo Angel, thank you so much for subbing. Thank you guys for being here. Let me just make sure. I don't think I put any added notes. I didn't put any added notes. Just be sure to subscribe. And tell me what you think. Do you guys want Shannon and I to cover the NK, Black Magic, Blood Magic, her dad, more of the house, and all of that stuff next week for our Sunday night, because we go into the paranormal on Sunday night. So do you want us to stick with the Watts house, or would you like us to move along? Just let me know if you want us to stay with the Watts house. Just put a 1. If you want us to move along, put a 2. Totally understand. Thank you for being here. I see Cat's Life. Thank you, Cat's Life. Ant Poison. Oh, Ohio. Chris C. and Heavenly, thank you so much, baby girls. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being my 2 beautiful moderators. You're the best. Virgo Angel, thank you for subscribing. Maggie, thank you for being here. And if Miss Murda, thank you for stopping by. I think I saw Sherry P. resubscribed. Thank you so much, Sherry, for becoming a dragonfly again. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have. If nobody's told you this tonight or today, I'm telling you. And even if I'm trying to read the chat too while I'm saying this, let me focus, Amy. I need to say this to you guys. You guys, if nobody's told you this today, and even if somebody has, I'm telling you this. I love you guys so, so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Ever ask why my heart burned blue? Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Carefully strumming this